Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Dear Divine Selves, for permanent cessation of all sorrows and sufferings and attainment of infinite unconditioned love and bliss is the ultimate objective of every jiva, every being. Not because it is stated by the scriptures, sages and seers, but it's the common sense experience of every jiva. Nobody likes suffering, sorrow, sadness, and everybody is in search of love, bliss and beauty. Therefore, the ancient sages and seers of Vedanta, Vedic culture, the Upanishadic rishis investigated this issue so deeply, so profoundly, so scientifically and systematically that was unparalleled. And after that investigation, they came out with the conclusion that for the permanent cessation of all sorrows and sufferings and for attainment of unconditioned and infinite bliss in life and beyond, there is no way other than realization of your true nature, realization of the supreme truth, that is called self-realization or God-realization. That alone is called moksha or enlightenment. So what is the difficulty? What is the problem? You see, these days we are celebrating Gita Jayanti Day. So it would be appropriate to take one shlok, one verse of Bhagavad Gita. I am going to take up one verse of Bhagavad Gita from 13th chapter, which is going to take us directly to the core of our existence, the innermost reality of ours, and that is called immediate and direct self-realization, Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti. So, in very simple way, I will take you through that verse and the implications, huge implications for the spiritual progress for each one of us. So, the Bhagavad Gita's verse goes like this. Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam asaktam sarvabhrityaiva nirgunam gunabhoktricha. It means the Brahman, the supreme reality, is ever manifesting, shining through the senses, even though it is always without any senses, and it is always unattached, and yet it sustains, it holds the entire universe, and finally it is free from all gunas. The transcendent reality is attributeless, so it's free from all gunas, and yet it experiences all the gunas. There is no other experiencer, there is no other knower of the gunas. Gunas, in simple terms, means the entire manifested world of names and forms, the objective world, that is a product of Maya, Prakriti. The Prakriti is Triguni, Satoguni, Rajoguni, Tamoguni. So, this entire manifested world of the names and forms is the product of Maya, that is Prakriti. So, the catch word here is Lord Krishna is saying that in every single function of your senses, I am manifesting. Here, Lord Krishna means Nirguna Nirakar Brahman, the pure consciousness is referring to the supreme truth. The Brahman is ever Sarvendriya Gunabhasam. In the functioning of every sense organ, I am manifesting, I am shining forth, and yet you are unable to see me, perceive me, realize me, experience me. What a pity. Here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya in his commentary say that here senses include all the sensory organs, that is 5 sensory organs, and 5 motor organs, the senses of action, and also inner organ, that is Antahkarana, which is mind and intellect. So all these indriyas are upadhis, limiting adjuncts of Brahman, the God, and they are inert. They have no life force. There is no reality, there is no substance in any of these senses. So who is the power? Where is the power? What is the light which illumines? Which is the power which energizes this? This is Brahman, none other than Brahman. Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. Even though the attributeless transcendent reality is free from all the senses, and yet in this immanent world, this universe of daily perception, in the functioning of the senses, all the senses, the God, the Brahman is ever shining, ever manifesting. Abhasitam, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam. Abhasitam means shining, manifesting, revealing itself. The Lord, the Brahman, is ever revealed in every single function of every single organ. That is direct and immediate knowledge, cognition, and vision of the supreme truth, the Brahman. Let's take for the example, let's focus here. The presence of God, Brahman, in other words, the presence of pure consciousness alone is the ground, source, substance, and substratum of every single experience of ours through senses. Let's take, for example, the eyes. The eyes, when I am seeing my hand, my palms, so this, the palm, my own palms are, my palm, the fingers are object of knowledge. But who is seeing? Through these eyes connected to mind, who is seeing? Sakshi Chaitanya, witnessing consciousness, Pratyagatman, that is seated in intellect, in buddhi of every jiva. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe aryun tishtati, hriday sarva vishtitam. In many places in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that in the hearts of every creature, I am seated there, the light as light of consciousness. So this seeing is not happening really by the eyes or even the mind. They are inert, they are not conscious entities, they don't have the power to know. So these are instruments. That's why they are called Karan Upakaran, Antahkaran. Mind and intellect are Karan and the senses are Upakaran. So whenever any function is being done, any activity is being done, when I'm here, I'm speaking and you are hearing words, sound. That hearing, through that hearing, when you are hearing, the Lord, the supreme reality, the Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness is ever present. In the presence of pure consciousness, that is Brahman alone, you are able to hear something. The act of hearing is happening in, upon and through Brahman only. So directly the presence of God, the Lord, the Brahman, the pure consciousness is there directly. Similarly, take for example one organ of action, your feet, when you are moving, or when this hand or fingers are moving, which is the power, which is the energy? Brahman, right now, right here, God is present, pure consciousness alone. Here, shining, God is shining. This activity, this movement of the fingers, and in this activity, the God is manifest, Brahman is manifest, though invisible, eternal, universal seer, subject of all. Yet through the upadhis, the limiting adjuncts, the God, the Brahman alone is present. When my legs are moving, I am walking, it's none other than the Brahman who is present there as the power, the energy, the illuminer, the source in which and whose presence, Sannidhi Matram. In fact, the Lord is not, and the Brahman is not doer or experiencer. Nitya, akarta, bhokta. Yet, no action or experience or enjoyment is possible in the absence of Brahman, the pure consciousness. So, the transcendent Brahman, though being without senses, without being any sense of agency or experience, and yet every action, every experience, and every functioning of the organs is happening in and through Brahman only. So right now, right here, and since morning to evening, this is the direct method of self-realization. Sakshat Aparokshanubhuti. Brahman is right now, right here present. Just shut out your eyes. Through my activity, the functioning of the organs, whether organs of action or organs of perception, the God is shining. Who is God? Who is Lord? Who is Brahman? It's me in reality is shining. And where is my ultimate locus? In my upadhi called buddhi antahkarana, I am seated in my original form as Sacchidananda, technically called in the Vedanta philosophy as Sakshi Chaitanya Pratyagatman, indwelling self. Only in association with the upadhi of this mind and body, I am called Pratyagatman, the individual self. The moment I dissociate myself, I am Supreme Brahman, Sacchidananda, infinite existence, pure consciousness, and unconditional love and infinite bliss. I am. Whenever these organs or senses or the body is functioning, it's my light, the light of consciousness alone is there, empowering all the activities. So I am present in every activity, in every function of every sense organ, and yet the deluded, the ignorant one don't know me. I am shining, I am self-effulgent reality, ever present within you. So I could be inferred, I could be experienced directly, immediately by anyone who cares to do that through the activities, through the functioning of the body, mind, and senses, and thereafter going at the core of my existence as pure consciousness. Through pratyahar, withdrawal of all my senses which are extroverted, I become introverted and I am now rooted as that supreme reality, transcendent Sacchidananda. I am now conscious of nothing but consciousness alone. When consciousness is conscious of consciousness alone, that is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, highest state, that is called moksha, that is enlightenment. When the same jiva, embodied self, develops the tendency of extroversion, it becomes bound. When the same consciousness again takes back a U-turn and goes back to its source, its center, the same jiva becomes Shiva. The same Nar becomes Narayan, because always it is. So I am always that supreme reality, the Brahman, the Paramatman. When I watched every functioning of my organs, all karmendriyas, all gyanendriyas, all organs of perception and action and their activities, I found myself, that is Brahman, the immutable and eternal supreme truth, Sacchidananda. I found my immortality, I found my infinity, I found my absolute sovereignty of the self. What Lord Krishna mentions in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dehi nityam avadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata. In every body, the indweller of the body, Dehi, that is Atman, is unborn, beyond decay and death. That Atman I am, through the grace of the God, through the grace of the Lord, through the grace of the scriptures, through the grace of Guru, now I am established in my innermost core of existence as pure consciousness. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham.